I think of a man who, like many of us, never got the fair shake that he wanted to, and I can say that from firsthand experience. Back in 2010, here in Jersey, there was actually a movie that was getting filmed. It was a documentary called "The Price of Fame." It originally started off about like the times and tribulations of wrestlers. Actually, it was supposed to be about Justin Credible from the ECW era, as well as Ted DiBiase, but they really just parlayed it over into DiBiase's rise and fall because he went ahead and gave up all this stuff, became born again Christian, became a pastor, really went religious with it, and it was told from his point of view, from Ted DiBiase Jr., from the family himself. Um, One day back in the fall of 2010, they decided to have necessarily like not necessarily like an intervention, but like a Ted DiBiase "This Is Your Life" for the movie. I know this because I was asked to help out with that day on that event. Pretty much helping behind the scenes, setting up stuff, and one of the tasks I was given was to drive Virgil from the airport to the church. It was actually held at a church. As you can see, here's some of the pictures from that event. Forgive the bad quality. It was a crappy camera I had back in 2010. But there's me with Ted DiBiase and his son. There's me with Don Marie, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and there's me with Virgil and Sean Walton,
Waltman.
X Pac. These were all people that were in attendance to go ahead and have like this little documentary done about Ted DiBiase. And there he is going in. There's the movie title, and he's all talking with that. And they kind of did like "This Is Your Life" sort of thing, where Virgil went ahead and he was the first one to talk about Ted. Now, I tell you this because up until this point, Virgil was already known by a lot of people as like the guy who will hustle you for money or the guy who will try to sell anything. You know, didn't necessarily leave a good taste in the mouth of a lot of people that heard about it. Maybe if you saw him at a convention, you might get the same idea. But I went to the airport. I did the whole, chauffeur thing. Had his little name on the sign, all that, and I picked him up as well as my friend at the time, Sean Morton, who was a wrestling fan and comic in his own right. He was picking up other people, but Virgil was my responsibility. So from the airport drive all the way over to this scene, to this location, I had Virgil right there on my passenger side, and we're talking it up. We're talking. Today's gonna be a good day. Gonna see Ted. Gonna see a lot of people. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be real fun. And he was just so enthusiastic about being a part of this, just because he was a guy that just seemed to really enjoy everyone's company. You know, some may go ahead and see someone like that as maybe being too friendly, or maybe he's on something, so he's a little bit too wired, a little bit too excited. I never got that. I saw a man who was genuinely excited to see the people that he knew best, that he was closest with, the people that helped him get to the highest point he had ever had in his career. And even if that was the only high point that ever happened to him, he was happy to relish it. He was a man who was just grateful for everything that had come along. And when you heard him talk to Ted, and you had him go ahead and say how much working with Ted DiBiase was, how much it meant for him, how great of a person he was, how much Ted in his own life helped Virgil through some dark times. It's a shame that you go ahead and you see a man like that give everything, all the credit in the world to the people that worked around him, knowing that there were so many opportunities where people could have worked for him instead of him work for them, and it faltered. So when I think of Virgil, I think of a man who, like many of us, never got the fair shake that he wanted to, and I can say that from firsthand experience. So the whole lonely Virgil thing, you know what? He did everything he could. He hustled. Yeah, he may have scammed a little bit here and there in order to make ends meet, but when you think about it, when all you've been given has come and gone, don't you want to go ahead and just try to hold on to it a little bit yourself? That's what Virgil was doing. He was holding on to it for dear life. And I really wish there was more for the man. I do. I wish more could have come his way. I wish more could have benefited him. But at least we'll always have this as opposed to nothing, I suppose. It's sad to see him gone. It's sad to see that there won't be any more opportunities. There won't be any more prices that he's worth. But it's um it's happy to know I at least knew him to a better extent than the normal fan, even if it was just for a day, even if it was just for this one experience. That there were other people there. It's not like it was a one-on-one only thing, but I'm glad I got to see the side of Virgil that I did, and I hope a lot of other people will remember a different side of him if they got to see it, and not just think of the memes and the downside of his career.